Hello, Mason Storm here. On today's episode, we're going to look at making some tea, specifically sencha, which is a type of green tea. Making tea itself is very simple. It's a matter of adding a tea leaf to water. But to make tea taste good, there's certain conditions that have to be met with the water temperature, the tea to water ratio, and the steeping time, and we're going to be going over those for sencha in today's video. To begin with, we boil some water. I'm going to be using a few tools to make this a lot easier. I got my scale, my measuring cup, my phone, I'm going to be using it as a clock, and I got my thermal probe. So to begin with, I'm going to be pouring my boiling water into my teacup. Now this first set of water is not going to be used for making the actual tea, but I'm actually going to use it to measure to see how much water my cup actually holds. So I'm just going to dump the water from my teacup into the measuring cup, trying not to spill it all over the place. And then I'll clean up what I spilled because I definitely made a little bit of a mess there. And here's my measuring cup, a better view of it. So I got approximately 400 milliliters of water. It probably would be a little bit more if I didn't spill so much, but I'm just going to dump that back into the cup, and this is going to serve to warm up the cup. A preheated cup really helps when making tea, whereas if you make tea in a cold cup, it can kind of be disastrous. And now I'll get out my calculator and figure out the amount of tea that I need. I got 400 milliliters, and 1 gram per 50 milliliters works out to 8 grams. Now, depending on your tea type, you might want a different ratio than that. Many tea companies list the recommended dosage per milliliter or the imperial equivalent. I'm just going to use a spoon to spoon in the proper amount of sencha. This isn't a really high precision scale, but it works good enough for making tea. I got my 8 grams, so I'm all set. So I'm just going to set that aside for now. And then we'll dump out the water that's in the teacup already. And now that our cup is all nice and preheated. Although I guess with this style of tea, you probably don't have to necessarily preheat the cup because it takes so long to get the water down to the proper temperature anyway. So we'll just fill it up with water up to about the same level that we had the first time before we measured out the amount of water needed to fill the cup. So therefore our mathematics should be on point. I'm just going to turn my thermal probe on here. And then I'm going to stick the thermal probe in the water. And now we play the waiting game where we wait for the water to cool off to the point that we can add our tea. This package of sencha recommends a brewing temperature of 74 degrees Celsius for 1 minute. And that's exactly what we're going to do. Now, many tea packages will have different instructions for different brewing temperatures and brewing times, and you just need to follow the instructions on the package. I think too many times, too many people simply boil water, toss tea in, and expect it to taste good. And it's just not going to be as good as it can be if proper care is not taken to the process of brewing the tea. Typically, green teas get brewed at a much lower temperature than black teas. A lot of the black teas you can do at boiling temperature and just toss the stuff in and give her a few minutes and it comes out okay, but green teas are a little bit more picky in the types of temperatures they like to truly draw out the flavors of what's inside the leaves. Care can also be given to the water that's boiled to make the tea, but I find that the tap water I have here at my home works good enough. But you could also use bottled water if you'd like. And some people that have really hard water, it doesn't work very well either, so in that case bottled is probably your best bet. And now that we're approaching our temperature, it's time to get ready with the tea in hand, and then we'll add it to the water. And then we can start our timer and begin the waiting process. Of course, I'm going to speed this up so it goes a lot quicker. But the thing to notice is just the amount of temperature drop we have in our water since adding the tea. I don't know if it's worth doing, but preheating your insert for filtration purposes might be a good idea to prevent such a drastic change in temperature. Either way, now that our tea's done, we remove the tea and our thermal probe, and we're good to start drinking our tea. Now, I don't know if this is literally the best way to make tea, but it is certainly a way that's repeatable, and with controlled measurements and timing, you can definitely dial in the process to get your preferred outcome over a series of implementations of said plan. But I think it tastes pretty good. So let me know in the comments below how you like to make your tea, and let me know everything I'm doing wrong with mine. And if you like my content and would like to see more of it, please like and subscribe. And until next time, stay awesome.